Hi there, I'm Loraine Prokopiou and we're about to go through an upper limb workout. Today I'm working on the Align A8 Pro Reformer. Now it's set up with the tower here and that's what we're really going to be focusing on today. We're going to start with a band just as a little warm up, and then we'll go on working the push through bar and the arm springs. So that's what you need for setup. So let's get cracking. We're going to work with the band first of all, and we're just going to do a little bit of lateral rotation through the shoulders. So we're going to drape the band just over the hands, and you're going to tuck your elbows into the waist. Just feel nice, easy length through the spine first of all. Think about this lovely, easy width out through the collarbones and find some length through the spine. And then we just gently stretch the band in front and then control back. So what we're trying to do here is actually work the lateral rotators of the shoulder. So that's your rotator cuff. We're just moving the forearms in space, and the movement actually comes from the ball and socket joint of the shoulder. So you're feeling the length through the spine as we're just gently working the shoulders. You'll notice as well as the movement through the ball and socket joint of the shoulder that you'll get a sense of the shoulder blades gently moving towards each other as well. So let that happen, but just double check they're not pinching. Pull back and hold for this last one, and then just take a few little pulses here, really trying to focus in to that work around the ball and socket joint of the shoulder. Excellent, we'll make that one our last one and then release. Double over your band now. Now the band that I'm working with is sort of a medium resistance. So you could go a bit stronger, you could go a bit lighter. It just depends on how your shoulders are feeling today. So we've got this doubled over now. We're just going to release the band down in front, then bring it up and bring it overhead if that's comfortable for you. You could just bring it up to shoulder height if that's better. And then we're just going to keep working with that. So I'm trying to keep my rib cage and my torso nice and still and just move the shoulders here. So you'll notice the ball and socket joint of the shoulder moves, the shoulder blade moves in the back, and then see if you can take any notice of your collarbones actually moving at the front of the body. So as the arms lift up, let's get there, this end of the shoulder blade will lift. So just noticing that as you work there. So let's do one more round here, just bringing the arms up and then control, and we'll finish with them out in front of you, and then we're going to do some scapular isolation here. So you reach the fingertips forwards and then draw the shoulder blades back into place. So I'm keeping my elbows straight and I'm just moving and gliding the shoulder blades on the chest wall, and we're going to think about that work quite a bit throughout the class now. So you're feeling the movement through the shoulder blades, trying to get all the work around those muscles there around the shoulder blades. Take a rest, then bring the hands above the head, let the armpits drop, and then we shrug and release. So we're elevation, depression now of the shoulder blades. Again, feeling them move and glide on the chest wall. And especially here, again, you're going to notice that collarbone lift and lower and move. There's something we don't necessarily think about too much, but just being aware of it. So bring the band down and end up with it just across your thighs. And then we're just going to try and stretch the band a little bit across the thighs. So I'm trying to push my hands behind the line of the body and then release. It's quite a small movement. There's, doesn't look like much is happening, but there is some work going on. I'm widening through the collarbones. I'm trying to get the feeling of rolling the ball back in its socket. And again, there's a slight movement of the shoulder blades towards each other. I'm going to hold this one, next one back there. Keep working around the shoulders and then turn the head to one side, bring it to the center, and then the other side, bring it to the center, and then release the band. I'm going to do that again and go back the way I came. So I'd turn to side number 2 first, and then center, and then side number 1 first, or next, and then release. Let's do that again. So pull back. We're going to go to side number 1. And a center, and side number 2, and a center, release. Side number 2 first, pull back, hold, feel the work through the shoulders, easy turn through the head, and then we finish at side number 1, release to center, and then easy roll those shoulders. We're going to put the band down now onto the bench, and I'm just going to drape it across around about middle of the bench there and just hold. Resetting through the shoulders, finding easy length through the spine, and we're just going to take a few arm circles, so just bringing the arms up and out and around, so easy loose movement now without that band. And as you float the hands up above the head, let the armpits easy drop. I'm going to reverse the circle now. The hands just come to the side of the body. You're not trying to take them behind the line. It's just an easy movement through the shoulder blades. So not overstretching, but feeling everything happening through that whole shoulder complex. That was my last one. Come onto all fours, and we're going to come kind of over the band here. And we're just going to place the hands down, spread the fingers, and we're going to take it into a cat-cow. So tucking the tail underneath you, pulling the tummy muscles up and in, round through the back, and then into the cow, lifting the tail and shining the breastbone light forwards. And we'll just keep that movement coming, just moving through the spine, get that going first, and then have a little think about the shoulders again. So I'm pushing down through my hands, the shoulder blades are separating a little bit as I come into the cat. And then as I head into cow, the shoulder blades move towards each other, but try and make sure you don't kind of hang down. It's just a nice, easy control. So let's just do that 1 or 2 more times, working the spine and feeling the shoulder blades coordinate the movement there. And then let's just take a little rest back into a shell stretch. So dropping your bottom back to your heels, reaching your hands forwards, and just taking a breath into the back of the body there. And then I'm going to return to all fours again. This time I'm going to try and keep the back nice and flat. And this is a little bit like a cat movement, but we're going to lift one hand and then land it back down again, and then go ahead and do the other hand. So I'm really trying to push down through the hand and control the shoulder as I go from my 4 points of contact to my 3 points of contact. And again, just controlling through the spine as well. There's some abdominal work going on here to keep you nice and long and straight. And I'm thinking about the shoulder blades pushing into the floor. I'll go one more each side here. And then release. I'll take another little shell stretch just to release off that. It's nice to take a rest off the wrists. And then we'll release, place the right hand on top of the left, bottom back to the heels. Feel the stretch through the right shoulder. And then we'll go ahead and do the other side. And then we're going to just come straight down onto your tummy. So I'm going to lay on this band so it's ready for action later. So it's kind of hitting the very tops of my thighs there. Just placing the forearms onto the mat, hands by the shoulders. We're going to do some breaststroke prep. So we open the collarbones, lift the head, lift the shoulders, and shine the breastbone light forwards, and then release back down. So we're extending the upper back here, but you're thinking about, again, the shoulder blade connection to the back of the body. And here I like to think about, I'm floating my heart up and pressing the back of the rib cage into the shoulder blades. I'm just going to take one more here, lengthening and lowering. Then bringing the hands by the hips, we're going to do the same again. Lift the head and lift the shoulders, come up to that sort of dart position, reaching the arms long and lower back down. Now I would tend to have the palms facing the body here. It puts that shoulder into a more neutral position as you're working. Check you're drawing your tummy muscles in as you're lifting and lowering here to support the lumbar spine. And we'll just do one more here. And then release. And then I'm going to pick up the band now. So it's just kind of where it exits the thighs. And again, I've got those palms facing the body. Lift the head and lift the shoulders. And then we're just firing up the band as you lift and lower. So I'm just gently stretching the band so the hands go towards the sky. But watch that you don't lift too high again. Think about your tummy muscles drawing in to support the lumbar spine. So you want to feel like the back is working, the arms are working, and you're getting that nice resistance into those arms as you're lifting and lowering. I'm going to go one more, lift and hold, and then we're going to do little pulses. Lift, lift, lift. Really working the back of the body. If you noticed it start to pinch a bit in your lumbar spine, just let the upper body down a little bit and see if that takes it away. Here's my last one. And then release. Gonna let that band go. I'm gonna take a little press back into shell stretch again. And you can really reach the hands forwards just to release off the shoulders and the arms there. Have the little stretch out. We're going to do one more work of that scapular isolation in this position. I'm going to come down onto the elbows now. So think about these upper arms being vertical, thighs pretty vertical, and then we're going to drop the breastbone between the arms, the shoulder blades move towards each other, and then we float the heart up. And let's keep that going. Dropping down and floating the heart up. So again, there's a real sense of moving the shoulder blades on the chest wall here. You're trying to minimize any cat-cow, keeping the spine long, straight, and just focusing in on the shoulder blade movement. So the head bobs up and down only because the breastbone's moving. Hold the last one up. And if you really want to find a bit of tummy muscle action, let's pull the elbows and the knees towards each other. Feel the tummy muscles drawing in. Think a little cat here, so tucking the tail just a bit. And then release. And let's come on up and give those hands a little easy shake off. Great. So let's pop the band off to one side now. So I'm going to take this over. I've got my little basket handy. I'll pop that in there. And then we're going to set up with the push-through bar. So we'll set that up. Now I've got both blue springs on here. So we'll set that up. And then as I'm here, I'm going to start kneeling. So just nice and upright through the spine. And then I'm just going to bend the elbows and straighten the elbows and then return to bring it back up again. So with the push-through bar, there's this arc of movement that happens where you have to really get the sense of control as it comes through that mid-arc of movement. And I'm trying to keep the spine nice and straight. What will tend to happen is the elbows will want to stick out and the shoulders will want to come up. So really control that as you're working here. And you'll get a sense of firing up through the center as well as you work. And I'm going to do one more there. Nice. And then release. Good. I'm going to drop this down just one spring off, and I'm going to do a little bit of side work here. So this makes that spring really quite light, but it's nice for working just the single arm in this situation. So I'm nice and upright through the spine again. Same kind of action. I'm just pushing down and straightening the elbow and then controlling back up again. So this is quite light, so you could load this up with the second spring, but what you want to avoid is this sort of lots of crunching down through the side. So keep the spine really straight and just focus on that easy movement, shoulder blade, elbow, wrist, working around the push through bar. I'm going to make this one my last one. Nice, and release. And then I'll do the same the other way around. So nice and upright. You'll notice that I find this really comfortable just to hang my feet off the end. And then you've got the hand is slightly in front of the shoulder here. Puts it in a better position, usually more comfortable for that gliding of the ball and socket joint of the shoulder. So again, nice and upright through the spine as you're working. Easy control here. Feeling the movement of the shoulder blade. It's not a strong power movement, it's just all about the easy control. I'm going to make this one my last one. Release back up again. Now I'm going to add that spring back on and we'll continue using the push through bar. I'm going to start sitting. So I'm going to come and sit right underneath the bar. Now options here, you could sit on a block. And you could sit cross-legged, but I'm going to choose to have my legs out a little bit. The toes don't have to be down, so nice and comfortable. And then I'm going to take this underhand grip and it's work like a pull down and control back up again. Same thing, and you want to work feel like you're working a little bit stronger here, using your tummy muscles again to support the spine. Check it's a nice vertical line, so those are your seated options I've just gone through. Making it a little bit more challenging, I'm going to take one hand off and place it across the rib cage. I'm kind of holding the rib cage on that side there and pull down with the single arm. So the idea of the hand here is just to check in and make sure that you're not twisting or dropping down on that side. So you're trying to stay nice and upright. And I've actually got a sense of my torso muscles working, holding me nice and still. All right, let's switch and do the other side. So again, nice and upright through the spine as you're working that single arm. So obviously with the single arm, it makes it tougher on the arm itself and on the torso, holding you straight. I'm going to go one more, then just to even everything back up again, both hands on, pull down. I'm just going to stay here and find some length. And then let's take some little pulses here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Releasing that up. I'm going to change my grip over and then shuffle forwards and lie down. So you want the bar kind of lined up with sort of somewhere between your chest and your collarbones. And then we're going to go back to some scapular isolation. So let the bar lift you up and then draw the shoulder blades back into place. Let me just reset that a little bit. There we go. Reach and draw the shoulder blades back into place. So the spine is staying long and straight and still, and the shoulder blades are moving easy on the chest wall here. And I like the resistance of the springs to draw the shoulder blades together, so you really get that sense of control through the shoulder blades. Now we could work here again, depending on how strong your springs are. You could work here with a single arm. And again, same thing, you're trying to keep the torso straight as you work. And then let's try that on the other side. So again, it's kind of wanting to pull me up. So I've got to really control that as I'm working through. Last one there. Both hands come back on again. And then I'm just going to pull the bar down and kind of stick the elbows out and then control the release. So now I'm trying to keep the shoulder blades fairly still in the back of the body there. They will move a bit, but you're trying to get an open feeling through the collarbones. I'm working the arms as I'm pulling back down and controlling the recoil. Good. And we'll take one more there. And then as the bar comes up, we can come all the way up into sitting, letting those legs straighten out. Good. And then I'll pivot around and take the bar off. So let's come and bring that completely out of the way. Nice, and then we're going to start working with the arm springs. So I'm going to bring the long box out, and we're going to, it's kind of like emulating some of the armchair work. It's a piece of kit you don't see very often in modern Pilates studios, but we can use that with the arm springs that we've got set up here. Now my arm spring, I'm using a short yellow at this point in time. And I've put an extra clip in there just to give it a little more length so the resistance isn't quite so strong. So what I'm going to do first of all, I'm going to face the tower. I'm just going to scoot that back a bit. Just nice and upright through the spine again, and we're going to do some chest expansion. Good, and actually, do you know what? I want a bit more resistance, so I'm going to scoot myself back a little bit further still. Good. So I like to have the thighs sort of quite well supported, kind of the tops of the backs of the knees there, just against the edge. Find nice upright through the spine. We're just going to press back and control forward. So this is just like we did in the warm-up with the band over the thighs. We're working the back of the shoulder, feeling the length through the spine. And I'm going to go one more here, and then I'm going to make a little change. So we pull the straps back, hold, turn the head to number 1 side and center, number 2 side, center, release. We go again, turn to number 2 first. You're stabilizing all around the shoulders as you move the head nice and easy. We're going to go one more complete round. Turn to side number 1 and a center and a 2 and a center and release. Final round. Turn to number 2 first. Opening the collarbones all the while and releasing to center. So now we're going to do a bit more lateral rotation through that shoulder. Let's try sitting here, see what that resistance feels like. So I'm actually going to sit well back on the box and my feet are just dangling over the edge. Now this is quite comfortable for me. I'm going to pull that back. Now that resistance feels too much, so I'm going to scoot this way a little bit. And let's try that again. There we go, that feels good. So options, you want to keep the spine nice and straight. You're watching, again, you're not crunching down on that side, so we're keeping the length through the collarbones. Keep those collarbones parallel to the box. So I could leave my feet here, or you could even, if it feels a bit more comfortable, have them resting on the top or a little cross-legged. Any of those options are good. Your focus is keeping the back nice and straight. Work around the shoulder. Release, we've got to do the other side. So let's pivot around. As I say, I actually quite like to have my bottom almost hanging off the edge, the back edge of the long box, as you can probably see there. And then I'm working around through the shoulder on this side. So keep the humerus, so the upper arm, nice and still as we move the forearm. So there is the rotation happening through that ball and socket joint of the shoulder, but there's not much movement in space. It's the forearm that's actually moving in space. Here we go, that's my last one. And then I'm going to take a little rest there. And then I'm going to turn around and work forwards, but I want the spring slightly higher. So I'm going to change these springs up to here. And then I think I'm going to want this about there. Let's try that out and see how we go. So I'm going to face away. Now traditionally we've sort of got this kind of frog leg thing happening with the soles of the feet together and the heels pressing in to the box. So you could try that, or you could just have the feet out straight, whichever feels best for you. So I'm going to work there, and there's a little press of the heels into the box and a slight forward lean. I'm still trying to keep long and straight through the spine. Let's bring those arms up and forwards and control back. We'll keep going with that. Find it easy length through the spine as we're working. Nice, and we'll go one more here. And then I'm going to go again and hold, and then spin the hands, and then we're going to release one and then punch with the other one. So we're alternating these punches. I'm trying to keep the spine pretty straight. Let the shoulders just respond to the movement as you're working your punch, but feel nice and controlled. And you could pick up the pace as well if you like. We'll finish with both arms forwards. Turn the palms to face each other, reset through the center. I'm going to lean forward slightly more, and then opening the arms out to the side and then draw them in for the hug. Open out to the side and then draw them in. Keep some of that tension through the spring so the arms don't go behind the line of the body as you're working. We'll go last 2 and or 1. We're going to keep the arms out wide. And we'll try a little butterfly. So I'm going to side bend this time. It's a little bit like you're playing aeroplanes. I always think this one. And then we come back up and then go the other side. So we're keeping the arms wide. We're keeping the tension into the band, into the springs, I should say. I'm adding a side bend on. As I say, a bit like playing aeroplanes. We're going to do our last one each side with a little change. As I tip over, I'm just going to hold for a moment longer and turn and look to the bottom hand, and then bring it back through the center and turn and look to the bottom hand. Just adds a little slight different dimension to it. Re-bring back through the center and then release those springs off. Great, let's release the springs down. We'll come off the box now and just place that back down again. And then we're just going to finish sitting And we're just going to do a little cat-cow. So taking hold of the bench here, just a nice easy dropping the tail back into your cat and then coming into a cow. So it's a seated cat-cow. You're just feeling the movement through the spine and again a little movement through the shoulder blades here. Nice, last 2. And a 1. Good. Holding here, we'll just take some arm circles, so bringing the arms up, out and around, easy movement through the shoulders, should feel nice and loose, feel like well supported as well with all the muscles we've just worked around the shoulder blades. Good, and then release, let's reverse that, all the way up and over, all the way up and over. And on our very last one, we're going to come into standing. So as you bring the hands over and forwards, fold at the hips a little bit more, come up into standing, and then release the shoulders and arms down by your side. Easy roll and length through the spine. Great.